Pin.
Look on the thing. Got plenty. On the desk on the counter in there. The cup.
Mic check 1 2 3 4.
Mic check 1 2 3 4.
Give us a thumbs up if we have audio. Ready, Mr. Swallow?
Let's go for it.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to a special Sunday edition of the Recap Show. Hey, Friday night, a lot of things happened. It was a pour down rain that we had to cover a football game in Friday night. We were soaking wet from head to toe. We went home. We were exhausted. It took us a while to get everything packed up and tore down. I mean, we tore down in the rain. We covered the game in the rain. So it was a miserable night, but somehow we pulled the game off Friday night. I know you were out of town this past weekend.
Right.
So it just didn't feel right to do a recap show Friday night with I mean, as much trouble as we had, and our good friend Mr. Gary Swallow on his birthday was not here. He was out of town with a tournament. So a very late happy birthday to yourself, my friend.
Thank you, thank you, appreciate it.
We did not want to go into Week 12 second round of the playoffs without talking about these first round matchups, because Gary Swallow, I mean, if you didn't see some of these scores, some of these upsets, some of this drama in the state of Louisiana that we were put in forth, wow, my man.
Yeah.
What a week one. I mean, week two is shaping up to be a dandy, but week one had a little bit of everything.
They had some wows. They had some upsets. Games that we thought were going to be one-sided one way ended up being very tight and ended up going the other way. It was unbelievable. We talked about a couple of them, and we'll go over them in a little bit. But, man, excitement. That's why you play the game, Mr. Taylor.
And, Gary, you look at some heavy hitters with an early exit in the first round. Who would have thought we'd have seen some of the teams that might have been projected to make a run at the title leaving the door early here in the first round?
Right. I mean, and, you know, we'll talk about that shortly. But, man, there was some major upsets in the state of Louisiana Friday night. It was unbelievable. And Thursday and Friday, really, got to say.
My friend.
Right.
And we had the pleasure of covering two games for the very first time in Under the Lights history, Thursday night and Friday night. And Thursday night, thank you to everyone at Oakdale and East Beauregard for the opportunity to cover that football game. Gary Swallow, if you did not hear, the quarterback ran wild. He had his inner Jaden Daniels type of night, 5 rushing touchdowns.
I can imagine. I didn't get a chance to watch because by the time I had finished class and got on, it was over. You know, it was at the end of the game. And but from what hearing y'all talk, I was like amazed, and I was sad that I missed it. So I had to go back and watch it, and watch it through the stream. And yes, he went off.
Yes, he did, my friend. And then Friday night, through the monsoon itself, we had the tent up. The tent did not matter. It was raining sideways, Gary. We still pulled off the stream. And, my friend, it was the Abbeville Wildcats, their stingy defense, and those talented backs that they got over there at Abbeville prevailed in the rain to push through to the second round. I think that's 3 years in a row for the Wildcats under Coach Roy going past the first round.
Right, and you know what? That just shows that he has a good program, good philosophy, and the kids are buying into it. You know, I'm very happy for him and for everything that he's done.
Pearl River, not a bad ball club. First time seeing them. Yeah, I mean, they had the conditions of the field were terrible for both sides,
Right.
but two talented kids on that team, number 8, number 7, are really excited to see what they do in the near future because it's a talented tailback they had.
Right, and like I said, I watched a little bit of it also, and on through the stream. Like you said, they have some talented people at Pearl River, and that program looks like it's on the rise. It's on the rise, and is they're going to be reckoned with in the future.
Yes, sir. Gary Swallow, 23 upsets in the first round, my friend. Hey, you wanted drama, you got it.
Yeah, you're right, and there's a lot of big wows in there, man. I couldn't believe that. I know one game that I'm going to be stunned with. I couldn't believe that happened, but it was just unbelievable.
Well, Gary, we talked upsets. Well, let's talk about the blowouts. 57 blowouts in the first round. They wanted to fix the playoffs, and you're still seeing numerous blowouts in the first round.
Right. The first round, you're going to have that. And I hate to say it, no matter what system we have, I think you're going to have that because you have the higher seeds going against the lower seeds and so on and so forth. To where, some of these teams are just that good.
Okay.
And so you're going to probably see that. But from now on is when you're going to start seeing the margin probably shrink. It's going to be dwindled down.
You
Yes.
got 64 games this week.
Right, and we were talking about that last year. Last year was probably the most competitive playoffs that we saw in a long time.
After the first round.
Yep. But once again, the first round, you're going to see stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's like from the regional, quarterfinals, and semifinals, you're going to have some nip and tuck. So I think it's now, from now forward, you're going to be having some nail biters.
Okay.
I think.
Well, we did have some nail biters in the first round,
Oh, yes,
my
we
friend.
did. You had a few.
15 games this week decided by one score or less.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So you had the blowouts. You had the close ones. So now probably the blowouts are probably going to be gone. You're not going to see that very much.
Be very slim.
Very slim. But, it happens. But you had some good teams playing against each other in this first round.
Let me add some more flavor to
Yeah.
it, Gary. 18 games this past week decided by 10 points or less.
That's right. That's amazing.
6 games this week decided by 3 points or less. It had a couple of 1-point winners across the state of Louisiana also.
Right.
So you did have some really classics in the first round.
Right. Some of these teams, knew each other. Some were repeats.
Yeah.
Different things they played in the regular season. So, they knew each other and they knew what to expect whenever they were coming in. So, hey, it is what it is.
Somebody correct me in the chat if I'm wrong here, but I believe there was 0 overtime games this week. I could be wrong. I might have had the wrong stat there, but 0 overtime games, not what I expected to see in the first round.
I don't remember hearing of any overtimes, but like I said, we could be wrong. But man, like I said, I think it was an exciting week 1.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Gary Swallow, when we talked about the 23 upsets in the first round, now you start to look at their seeds. You say, okay, where did they come from?
Right.
11 seeds in that first round higher than 20. So that's 20 on to 24 or 20 on to 28. 11 seeds higher than 20 advanced in the first round.
I know.
That'll go into the second round.
That was some major, oh, wow. It's going to be great.
Yes, sir. The highest seed that will move on in the second round of the playoffs, and it's a local.
It's a local, that's right. We talked about that earlier.
The number 26 seed threw a wrench into everybody's bracket, and you like March Madness?
Yeah, this is March craziness.
This is bracket buster out the gate. St. Martinville, they're not a 26 seed. A lot of people thought they played a schedule that set them up to make a little run as a higher seed in the playoffs, but nobody thought except those guys in that locker room and that city thought that they can go into Wampa Dome and knock off the Leesville Wampa Cats.
Right. Let me tell you something. You better, when you play in St. Martinville, you better bring your A game because they're going to give everything to you. And you know what?
You don't want to get in a shootout with them.
No, they showed it right there. Look out. St. Martinville is a force to be reckoned with. It's from here forward, you better wake up.
Yeah, they got another good one this week. Two locals going to meet on the gridiron, and St. Martinville is going to get the home game.
That's going to be awesome.
Gary, but we did lose some locals this week.
Yes, we sure did.
20 locals fell in the first round this week, so we have to say goodbye to some of our favorites, some of our locals, some of those that would be in contention to make a run for the Dome.
Right.
But it ends in round one, so 20 locals fall. But we still have some locals that have title drive still in them.
Right.
36 locals will enter round two with still that ultimate goal.
Getting to the Dome.
To get into the Dome.
Yep.
So that is a little look at the first round, and I expect round two is going to have a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
because you know what's on the line? You get past round two, you make it to Thanksgiving week.
That's right, and that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants to be playing the day after Thanksgiving. They want to be playing Thanksgiving week. That means you've accomplished something, Jordy. I don't care what anybody says. They want, they want to be playing on Thanksgiving week. They want to be playing that day. And that just means you've made it. You've made it to that elite round.
Yes, sir.
And that's what it's all about.
Everybody wants to practice on Thanksgiving. Everybody wants to play on Thanksgiving. And when you get down, you cut the field in half, and it's all about who executes wants it more the rest of the way.
You're right. And like I said, I think this is the first week of that. You're gonna have some dog fights in this next round.
Gary Swallow, we turn around. We take a look at let's see, what part of Louisiana are y'all in? I'm in Monroe, Louisiana, the north. So we are in the central part of Louisiana. We are located in Opelousas, Louisiana. So there you go.
There you go. Thank you for watching, man.
Yes, sir. So, hey, we take a look. We turn around here, Gary. We set it up. We got, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 22 available options still in the playoffs here, starting from this bottom row all the way to the second to the last row. So you got Lake Charles College Prep, Manny, Logansport, St. Paul's, Breaux Bridge, Arroyos, Lake Arthur, Iota, Northwest, Oakdale, LCA, Karen Crow, Bunkie, Cecilia, Iowa, Abbeville, Catholic Appointed P, Opelousas High, OC, Centerville, St. Louis, and Westminster. Out of all of our helmets, they're still in the playoffs.
Right.
Out of this group here, we're going to cover one of them this coming Friday.
Right.
So
we're excited too.
We have a list here of these teams we just named, and we're gonna announce where we're headed in round two. So let's break it down a little bit for everyone that's gonna get frustrated that we don't pick your team. And Gary, we can't be everywhere in the state.
Right.
We have to go and show love everywhere, right?
So we also have to get permission too.
Got to get permission from both sides of the field. Where can we go in round two? We start off here, and then Westminster's going to a Ouachita Christian, correct?
Right.
So very, very hard. You're not going to get that game with a Ouachita Christian. St. Louis will have McDonough 35, and you know those guys. They have their own streaming service.
They do.
Centerville and Homer.
Homer.
Well,
yeah.
No. Centerville and Mangum will meet this week.
Right.
I'm very sure one of those radio stations out of that area will cover that game. Opelousas Catholic, they got their own streaming service. OHS, they're going to be at West Feliciana. Very hard to get that football game. Catholic Appointed Peace heads to Riverside. No connections in the Riverside area. Abbeville will play Lutcher. Lutcher is covered by VSN. That game is off limits for us. So sorry to the Abbeville faithful. Iowa, maybe. We might go there. We'll see. Cecilia, covered by VSN. That game is off limits for us, ladies and gentlemen. Bunkie, they're going to play Episcopal. Episcopal, they got their contract with VSN, so another game off limits for us. LCA covered by Night Vision TV. Off limits for us.
Right.
The Crows gonna head to Acadiana. They got radio station and I believe a stream there. So that game we will not get there.
That may be game of the week too.
Absolutely. Oakdale and Homer, possible.
Right.
We'll see. Northwest and Wattsman, very possible. Right. Iota will head to Cecilia. Like we said, that game is off limits. Lake Arthur's heading to Oak Grove. Not going to get that game. They're on NFHS.
Right.
Avoyelles and Pine will meet this week, so another possible game. Lake Charles College Prep will head to Catholic and New Iberia. We're not going to get that game, unfortunately. Manny will have South Plaquemines. Not going to get that one. Logan Sport's going to have, I forget who they're playing. St. Paul's. They already have their own streaming services. And Bro Bridge will play who, Gary?
I'm not sure, Jordan.
Assumption.
Yeah.
No connections. So,
we're going to see.
At this time, Gary, I guess we'll make our announcement where we're heading in round 2.
Let everybody know. Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, please.
Thank you very much to both coaches and administrations for allowing us to be here next Friday night.
Right. I don't know. Pick one.
Gary Swallow.
We're going to Northwest High School.
Northwest High School, Wassman.
That's going to be a ball game.
Have got round 2. Under the Lights will be in Prairie Roan this week. Number 22 versus number 6. Second round playoff. Northwest Raiders, Wassman. Live on Under the Lights, my friend.
Right. We want to say thank you to both coaching staffs and both administrations for allowing us to stream this game. This is going to be a very exciting ball game.
Yes, sir.
I think it's going to be
and it's a great opportunity. We will see how good Wassman is in person.
Right.
A lot of us picked them to get to the semis and Dome.
Right.
Northwest, a huge upset win in round 1. It was a dominating upset win in round 1, and now they get Wassman in their backyard. It's going to be fireworks.
Right. Let me tell you something. I think that we've covered Wassman before in the playoffs, and I'm going to tell you right now, they've always shown
great defense,
and I think that this is going to be an exciting ball game. So I can't wait to actually get a chance to call this game with you, Jordan.
I agree, my friend. We're breaking down new things in the playoffs. We never covered a game from Northwest in the playoffs. We covered a game in the regular season. And check this, Gary. We've covered Northwest 3 times, and they're 3-0.
Right. Every time we've covered them, they've seemed to win. So, I mean, I know they're going to be excited to have us there.
And Wassman, we covered them against Abbeville a few years ago, but this team this year is a lot better than that team a few years ago.
You're
they
right.
got upset in the second round.
Right. That was a major upset, and I tell you what, I think this team is a lot better.
It's got to be fun.
Going to be exciting.
Thank you for the opportunity. And we had some options here. Oakdale and Homer was very close.
Right.
It was very close. Iowa and Plaquemine very close. And at the end, we said, let's go do something that we're unfamiliar with. We have not covered Wassman this year. We covered Northwest once. And we've been to Iowa twice this year.
Yeah.
We covered Oakdale twice this year.
Right.
We said, why not Northwest and Wassman? Let's show them some love this week.
And I think this is going to be a good ball game. Now, all of these matchups that we've talked about, they're going to all be good because I think now that we're in the regional, there's not going to be any bad games. But I'm excited to see this game, and I'm excited to call it with you, my friend.
So thank you to those guys there. We'll leave it there. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Wednesday night we'll have our picks show where we will discuss round 2 and make picks from around the state. We'll pick every matchup. That'll be at 8:30, my friend.
Right, yes, sir.
So let's go into some of these brackets from last week's first round because this is the recap show.
Right.
From Friday and Thursday night.
And we're gonna be going through this kind of quick, guys, because it's unless there's some wows in there.
We'll discuss some of these matchups and give our thoughts. But a lot of these teams we're not too familiar with, but we will get to know over these next few weeks. Let's throw that off to the side, right there by your.
There you go. Put it right there where everybody can see it.
All right, 16 seed, 17 seed Charter and Delhi Charter. 17 knocked off 16, 26-22. Now Delhi Charter is going to get a crack at Vermilion Catholic in the second round. Screaming Eagles, that's a tough environment to go play in.
You're right. I think it's going to, I think it's going to be exciting to go and see that.
Yeah,
whoever does get a chance to see it.
The public side, non-select, it's 1 through 4 that gets the first round bye, and private side, select 1 through 8 will get a first round bye. Wassman was 6, just on the outs of that top 4, so they played a first round matchup against Bruley. So they took care of Bruley, and then Northwest took care of Franklin Parish. It was an upset on the road. Northwest will host this week against traveling Wassman.
Yeah, it's home in a way. There's a formula that they use, but it's confusing for me. So whatever.
Ascension Catholic, the 9 seed, met up with Central Private over the weekend. Gary, 48-14, no problems there.
Right.
Now the rematch, the anticipated rematch that everybody's been waiting to see.
Right.
Ascension Catholic has knocked Opelousas Catholic out of the playoffs last year. Remember, they met twice last year. Gary, they met earlier this year.
Right.
And that was a thriller of a football game. OC had that lead going into the fourth quarter.
Right.
Ascension Catholic, really talented running backs.
Right. They came back. Game. We watched that game. Yes, that was right here.
They're going to meet again at Donald Gardner, part 2. I guess you could say part 4, because they done played each other 3 times in these last 2 years.
Right.
And Ascension Catholic put them out the playoffs last year, got a shot to do it again this year. You got to think the Vikings wanted this rematch.
Right. They had the game in control and just let it get away from them. And I think it's going to be exciting. And I know Opelousas Catholic has got this high on their priority list to get through this. So I'm sure they're going to be clicking on all cylinders. It's going to be an exciting game to go watch.
Yes, indeed, my friend. Riverside, wait the winner of Catholic of Poincapie and Cedar Creek. A lot of people said this could be an upset alert waiting to happen, except those guys in the locker room for the Hornets. They put the pedal to the metal and pretty much ran away with 42-0, my friend. They debuted some baby blue jerseys that night also.
Powder blue.
So congratulations to Coach Carruth and his Hornets. They're going to the second round. It seems like Catholic of Poincapie always seems to find their way making deep playoff pushes.
Yeah, they're a talented ball club. They got a lot of tradition over there. So look out. Don't underestimate the Hornets.
Gary, a lopsided game this next one in the Division 4 Select bracket, my friend. It was Delta Charter coming in as a 13 seed, and Covenant Christian was the 20 seed. Nobody told Covenant Christian that you got to come in here and just lay down, my friend. They came in as a 20 seed and took over their home territory, 35-6, one of those blowout wins over the weekend.
That's
Gary,
crazy.
I mean, you start to look at it, how soft of a schedule did Delta Charter play to earn that 13 seed, and how hard of a schedule did Covenant Christian play, or did they get healthy in the right time?
That's right. That's hard to say, because if you have some injuries that are causing you problems, and then all of a sudden you get healthy at the right time and you start clicking at the right time, man, that's all you need. We always have a saying in my business. I said, you always want to peak at the event like we had this weekend. So all my students were working to peak over there. Well, that's what they're doing. All these teams want to peak now.
Yeah.
They want to start peaking now so where they can just build onto the dome.
Gary, it's tough to beat somebody twice in one season, correct or wrong?
Correct. That is very correct.
It came into fruition Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
They met back in week 9.
Okay.
And Westminster were the winners by 2 scores. St. Ed's was the winners by 2 scores over Westminster in week 9 at home. We fast forward to week 11. They meet again. You knew that this one had something brewing because of all the chaos that unfolded back in week 9, but nobody thought this was going to be a 7-6 ball game, my friend.
Right. It was
Special
unbelievable.
teams matters.
Right.
An extra point for the win.
Right.
Upset. Down
Yes.
goes the Blue Jays.
Right. Now, I didn't see that coming, and I don't think anybody did. But
I mean,
the
if
people,
Westminster was going to win this game, I expected to see both sides score a little bit.
Yeah, but just one score each. I mean, that's amazing.
But,
that's amazing.
Congratulations, first-year head coach at Westminster.
Right.
Has his team in the playoffs. Also has his team going to the second round.
Right. That's exactly right.
It doesn't get easy. They got to go face the defending state champs this week.
Yeah, that's going to be hard. That's going to be really hard.
Next up, Sacred Heart went meet Glenbrook. We were high on Glenbrook last year, not too high on them this year, but don't tell them that because they can get on a little roll here with a favorable spot in the bracket as an 11 seed. If you get hot at the right time,
right,
that's all it takes. And they got a little game against Sacred Heart this week, 49-12 winners. Now they're going to go play St. Mary's. Very interesting St. Mary's team. Gary, they were number 1 for a majority of the season, fell to the 6th spot. So Glenbrook, St. Mary's, I'm intrigued for that matchup.
Yeah, that should be an interesting matchup, Jordy. St. Mary's, don't ever underestimate them because they were up there for so long, and they fell a little bit. But guess what? They're not a bad team. So
it's a good second round matchup, right?
Very good second round matchup.
And then Central Catholic met Hamilton Christian. Hamilton Christian played better ball as of late to end the season.
Right.
But they ran into CC this week, 28-6, 10 seed. They move on. And
Right.
then Hanson Memorial, another team in that district with that Vermilion Catholic district. Because, you got a couple of these teams here all moving on to the second round, all playing the same district.
Correct.
Hanson Memorial is the next team. 34-13 over St. John. Congratulations to the first round winners in Division 4 Select.
Correct.
Now let's enter those bye teams into the fold here in round 2.
Right. You got some great teams that had a bye, and look out. They getting healthy, and that's the most important thing. If you got a bye, get yourself healthy. But boy, man, you want to keep that rhythm. That's why sometimes a bye is a good thing. Sometimes it's not.
Yes, sir.
But you got to watch it.
Take a look into the future, my friend.
Yes.
Round 2, Division 4 Select. 1 seed Vermilion Catholic will play the 17 seed Dale High Charter. We got an 8-9 matchup, a rematch with Opelousas Catholic and Ascension Catholic. That's going to be fun.
Right.
You got a 5 seed Riverside versus a 12 seed Catholic Appointed P. 20 seed Covington Christian will play the 4 seed St. Martin's Episcopal. We'll see Harlan Berry for the first time in this year's playoffs. 3 seed Ouachita Christian trying to go defend their crown as state champs. They got the Crusaders coming into town this week.
Right.
Glenbrook St. Mary's, we said we were excited for that matchup. That's an 11-6 seed. 7-10, St. Frederick's and Central Catholic going to meet this week. That should be fun.
Right.
And then Hanson Memorial will play Southern Lab this week. Southern Lab, they look every bit
really good
as a really good 2 seed.
Yeah, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And man, there's a potential seeing Southern Lab and VC in the Dome. Can you imagine those 2 talented ball clubs?
And then don't sleep on the Ouachita Christians.
Oh yeah, and then Ouachita Christians coming out. Oh man,
try to defend their title.
Look out.
We got a lot of round 2s here that could go either way, my friend.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at 3 or 4 matchups. You don't know who's going to win those games.
No, that's. I'm bringing a coin to flip on the table Wednesday.
Come on now. Gary Swallow, how about Division 3 Select? We'll stick with the Select side.
Let's do that.
Let's check out on some of them scores. The Loyal Prep and Ascension Episcopal met on
I think it was Thursday. Huh?
Friday night.
Was it Friday?
And Ascension Episcopal, one of those matchups where we said, hey, who do you pick here? Who's the hotter team? I mean, they were pretty much dead even on the panel-wise. And then Ascension Episcopal Blue Gators, big win for that program. They get a shot at the state champs next week, but tremendous win on the road this week, 34-17.
Most definitely.
Let's see, Notre Dame and Green Oaks this week, my friend.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, congratulations, Coach Louis
Yeah.
Cook.
400.
400th win in his career. Joins only three head coaches to reach that milestone.
Tell you what, well deserved. That man. I've watched Coach Cook just come up through Crowley at Crowley High School and then went to Notre Dame. Nothing but professional. Very good coach. Very good person all the way around. So congratulations, Coach. Well deserved.
I'm sure Sweet 400 felt even better being at home this week.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So now Notre Dame will hit the road, and Notre Dame not accustomed to hitting the road this early into the playoffs. But if anybody's built to go on the road, it's them.
Oh, you're right.
Let's see. Pope John Paul II met up with Lake Charles College Prep. Another team, Gary, that were in those 20s that could cause a lot of damage in everybody's playoffs this year was Lake Charles College Prep. The district that they played in got them ready for this matchup. And Gary, I think everybody had Lake Charles College Prep favored in this matchup, but they did not know it was going to be such a convincing win.
Right. I think everybody went with Prep, but I mean the thing about it is that
34-7 dominating
you
win
didn't
on the
see
road.
that. You didn't see that. You didn't see such a dynamic, score come out of that. I mean, they basically dominated the whole game.
Yes, sir.
So I mean, don't underestimate the Prep.
Prep, don't let them get hot because now they get Catholic and New Iberia in the next round. Boy, that should be fireworks.
Right.
Yes, Troy said he doesn't know how Pope John Paul was that high of a seed.
Yeah.
Very well see that.
Yeah. I could see that with that score, most definitely.
How about a score fest in our next matchup, Gary? Patrick Taylor and Sophia B. Wright. That was a rematch from a few weeks ago. That was a hash it out game of the week a couple weeks ago.
Right.
So JB and the boys know all about this matchup. But tonight, home field advantage in a shootout, 52-42 was the difference.
They just kept
Patrick
on scoring.
Taylor, big winners.
Right.
But, what is
Man.
your gift for winning?
That's it. You got to go against a major
You Lab, baby.
major ball club, University Lab.
Hey,
Look out.
Take the momentum. Run with it.
Go.
Gary, one of our thrillers of the first round, it came in this Division III select bracket. It was a high-scoring fest. Northlake Christian and St. Thomas Aquinas. The 19 seed knocks off the 14 seed, 36-35. What a game. Well, I'll tell you what, this one must have been an exciting ball game to be a part of, and I bet there's a lot of stories to tell.
Oh man, I can only imagine. I didn't hear any details, but 36-35, that's got to be an awesome, exciting ball game. I bet everybody was standing up or on the edge of their seats or just, it must have been awesome.
Yes, indeed, my friend. Big time winners there. Another big time winners. Episcopal 50-6 over ML King Charter. Episcopal moving along. They got a big one this week with Bunkie.
Right.
Hey, at home field for the Panthers.
That team there
That's
is
gonna
tough.
be rocking, my friend.
Let me tell you something. That was one of my favorite games to go cover with this year was at Bunkie. That Gina game. Even though Bunkie lost, I tell you what, the character of those kids are so awesome. This is going to be a good game. Episcopal, you better bring your A game.
Hey, they will, and then you're going to have the entire town of Bunkie there waiting.
You're going to have the town of Bunkie at that stadium. It's going to be unreal.
I can't wait to see if Bunkie pulls it off. But Episcopal, no slouch, Gary.
Oh, no, they're
very,
good.
Very tough ball club.
They're very good. Very good ball club.
Parkview Baptist winners over Jefferson Rise 42-8. And then Holy Savior Menard, first win for those guys in quite a few years.
Right.
Congratulations in the playoffs to Holy Savior Menard over Homer Christian 23-8. So,
but they get a good one too.
yes. A lot of games we went our way that we expected. And then you had that shootout by 1 point was the big eyebrow raising of the bracket here.
Right.
But Gary, we'll take a look into the future. And some of these games are going to be good, and I still think some of these games could be lopsided.
Right.
In this bracket here.
Yeah. Well, some of the games, yes, and that's because of the opponents that are going to be,
Some of those teams that were waiting with the buys.
Right.
There's some giants.
Yes,
There's
are.
some heavy hitters. There's some how you say that, dome contenders.
Right. Most definitely.
So we'll check on those matchups here. Division III Select, defending state champs. Number 1, St. Charles welcomes in 17 seed Ascension Episcopal. That's a tough environment to go play in.
Right.
One of the better coached, well-ran programs in the state is St. Charles.
Oh, most definitely. They're not 2-time state champions back to back for a reason, and they're working on number 3 right now.
Hey, set up to go make a run for it.
That's it.
8 seed D'Arbo Woods Charter, 9 seed Notre Dame. This is an 8-9 matchup. Kind of think the Pios might be favored here on the road.
Oh yeah, they're traveling, but the Pios have to be a slight favorite in this. I don't know.
Might be a big favorite.
Yeah, I would say probably so. Notre Dame's going to be a hard team to beat.
Yes. 5 seed Catholic of New Iberia, 21 seed Lake Charles College Prep. A look at this matchup here, Gary. Now that Prep's got that big round 1 win, this one could go either way.
That's going to be a toss-up in my eyes.
Catholic of Iberia, they're very good. They're well coached. They knocked off a Parkview Baptist team a few weeks ago, earlier in the season. So they have the potential to go make a run for this, make a run at this. But
Catholic is a good ball club, but Prep is feisty. You cannot say that, okay, this team's better than Prep, because Prep can come up.
Don't look at a 5 versus 21 here. It's going to be a good ball game.
Yes, I think so. I think this could be a shootout.
Catholic New Iberia, they're going to pack the house on Friday night. So one of the more intriguing matchups in this bracket itself.
Right, most definitely.
13 seed Patrick Taylor versus 4 seed University Lab. One of those that could get away.
Yeah, University Lab is a good ball club. They have everything working for them. I think that they have a good shot to get to the Mercedes-Benz. Well, not Mercedes, but to the Caesars Superdome again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Newman will welcome in St. Thomas Aquinas. You look at a 1-point road win last week.
Right.
What it could do for a team in the mental game, Gary. Though you get those guys believing in the locker room that they can go knock off anybody in the state after an emotional, thrilling win like last week. Newman got to be careful here.
That can either be a good thing or a bad thing. That emotion like that, emotion can go up and bring you to the mountaintop. But
19 versus 3.
Yeah, now you're going against a well-rested Isidore Newman team.
Hey,
so look out.
Greenies are good.
Yes, they are. Very good ball club.
Episcopal and Bunkie. I'm gonna have to tune into this one on VSN.
We're gonna have to keep
a close eye on this one. I put Bunkie in the semis, my friend. So round 2 test against a good Episcopal team. That's gonna be a lot of fun over there in Bunkie this week. The Grove will be packed.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be cooking and everything in there. It's gonna be awesome.
Dunham Parkview Baptist, 2 teams all too familiar with each other,
Right.
Gary. Correct me if I'm wrong. The same district?
I think so.
Or I might be wrong here.
I'm not sure, but let me tell you something. You got 2 very good teams that are coming up. Right there. And I'm gonna tell you, it's not as if they don't know each other. These teams have been playing each other, if I'm not mistaken, for years. And look out. That's going to be an exciting ball.
Dunham trying to get back to the Dome, try to get another crack at the state title. But they got Parkview Baptist standing in their way this week. So good ball game here.
Right.
And then Holy Savior Menard against Calvary Baptist. Calvary Baptist, Gary, 10-0, can score for days. Very exciting ball club. Could run the table here.
The key that I have to tell everybody that's playing: can you stop them? And
can
so far,
slow them down?
Can you slow them down? Can you stop? The word right now is no. They have not been slowed down.
They got their hands full this week.
Yeah, they got.
Holy Savior Menard got their hands full with a dangerous Calvary Baptist team.
Right. It's gonna be scary.
Division II Select, my friend. We look at this right here. Take a look at some of these scores, and 2, 3, 4 shutouts in the first round for the Division II Select. 1 3-point thriller of a defensive showdown. and the rest of them weren't even close.
No, that's it.
Take a look at this, Gary. Northside for the first time in quite a while, so you know those guys were going to be excited to welcome in the Struma. But the Struma, the 17 seed, knocks off 16 seed Northside. Could have been the weather that slowed down Northside, because you know a lot of air raid teams around the state of Louisiana probably battled through that weather this weekend.
Right, yeah.
So 38-16 is Struma moving on to meet with the state champs of St. Thomas More. That's no easy task.
Not at all, not at all. That's gonna be a very hard game for Struma, especially playing at St. Thomas More. Man, that's a hard place to play. But you got to play the game.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Gary, a scare in the first round, my friend.
I know, big scare.
The last team to get into the playoffs in Division II Select was Booker T. Washington out of Shreveport. And they almost went knock off the 9 seed in the first round. You talk about an ugly score. You don't see many 11-8 ball games.
Right. I mean,
Livingston survives a scare here.
Right. When I saw that score, I went, "Oh my gosh." Booker T came to play.
Yes.
They came to play, and they did what they had to do. We don't know if the weather had a lot to do with that, whether turnovers and stuff, but 11-8, that's an interesting score right there. So, congratulations.
You look at Livingston. They get some offense rolling going into next week's game with St. Michael.
Right. That's going to be a close ball game too. You got a 9 and an 8 seed that are looking at each other now, so you know they're going to probably be tit for tat. So
okay. Evangel 49-0 blowout win. Now they get a crack at Archbishop Shaw. Is the E officially back? Time will tell.
Man.
If they knock off Shaw, then you can put them in that consideration, Gary.
Right.
But that's no easy place to go get a win.
Shaw is one of the best teams in the state, bar none. You know that. We've talked about Shaw all year. But Evangel Christian, the E, man, they went from that was a stretch there where they couldn't win a game.
Yeah.
And then now they are just coming out.
Get a first round win.
Yeah, and not just a win, but a dominating win.
They might be a year or two away from getting back into the driver's seat, trying to make title runs.
Right.
But they're going to have their hands full this week with Shaw.
I think this is going to be an interesting game, and Shaw better not take them lightly, because if they take Evangel lightly, Evangel may prove some people wrong. Yeah. So look out. Watch the E.
Could be close, but I think they pull away late.
I would think so too. I would probably think so too, because Shaw is clicking right now. Yes, they're doing really well. So we'll see.
Vanderbilt Catholic, Frederick A. Douglass, 28-6 winners. There, 13 moves on. Peabody on Harry Coleman's birthday, Gary Swallow gets a win at home over Booker T. Washington out of New Orleans. 42-6 was that win. Peabody. They're a football school also.
Man, let me tell you something. We've been talking about this Peabody team all year. You know, Coach Coleman, let me tell you something. He has turned that team around. He's showing the kids what football is. It's not a basketball team anymore, school anymore. It's a football school now. And they're buying into his thoughts and his beliefs now.
So
good job.
Yes, sir. Second round matchup, and
that's a hard one though.
It's gonna be tough. I mean, you got to go to Juwan Johnson's house. So
got to go to Knight Field. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
Donham 35. I don't even think they played a complete schedule this year, Gary. They had a couple forfeit games in their schedule, and they get a win 28-0 over Landry here. We look at McDonald 35. Are they tested? Can they go and knock off a St. Louis Catholic team in round 2? That's no easy task. That defense there at their home field, that's going to be something to see.
St. Louis is one of the best teams that we've seen this year. We've had a chance to see them. We've seen them especially whenever they played Iowa. But let me tell you something. McDonald 35 has always been feisty over the years. So, but I think that's going to be a good matchup also.
I think they only play what, seven or eight
I think it was
regular
7
season games this year.
I want to say, I thought it was 7, but I might be mistaken.
Madison Prep 54-0 win over Woodlawn of Shreveport. That's going to be an interesting second round matchup. I expect a lot of offense in that one.
But Madison Prep and Turtle. Oh God, it's going to be like track meet.
And then De La Salle shuts out Buckeye 42-0. De La Salle, Edie White, another good one.
Their schedule, their record is not near how good they are.
Okay.
De La Salle. But they're going against E.D. White, man.
Undefeated.
That's E.D. White's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Division II Select. Let's take a look at these matchups here, Gary.
Yep.
St. Thomas More, number 1 ranked team, defending their crown. Going to play 17 seed Estruma this week.
Right.
Okay. 8 seed St. Michael and Livingston. That's an 8-9 matchup.
Right.
5 seed Archbishop Shaw and 12 seed Evangel. 4 seed John F. Kennedy and 13 seed Vanderbilt Catholic. 3 seed LCA and 14 seed Peabody. 11 seed McDonald 35 versus 6 seed St. Louis. 7 seed Turlings, 10 seed Madison Prep, and 15 seed De La Salle versus 2 seed Edie White. Gary, all the higher seeds won here except one in this bracket.
Right. That's just how exciting I think this is going to be. It's going to be an awesome.
It's going to be an awesome round 2.
Round 2, yes. I think
you got some chances for some blowouts.
Right.
But you also got some intriguing matchups. Shaw Evangel is intriguing. Turlings Madison Prep is intriguing. McDonald 35 and St. Louis is intriguing. So that's 3 right off the head right there that could make this an exciting second round for Division II Select.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's going to be exciting. Hey, we're in the exciting. When you get to the second round, that's when everything starts getting exciting. When it starts getting really exciting is, the third round. That's when you get to Thanksgiving week.
Everybody's fighting to get to Thanksgiving week.
Everybody wants to get right here. That's what they want.
JB, where's the boys headed for the Hash It Out game of the week this week? That's what me and Mr. Swallow want.
Yeah, we want to find out.
We're headed to Northwest in Wassman. Division I Select, Gary. They said this was ranked top 10 best brackets in the nation.
Yeah, that was amazing. But if you look at the matchups, it's true. There's no other way to say it.
Gary, any given Friday with these teams here.
Right.
We start off with a lot of blowouts.
Mm-hmm.
Only one game was close here in the first round in this playoff bracket. Jesuit Bird, we expect this one to be a lot closer. But, my friend, Jesuit at the Shrine, 23-2 winners over Bird. Bird's season comes to an end. Jesuit, Holy Cross, next week. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of attention towards this game next week in that area.
Yeah. Whenever I saw that score, I went, oh, my goodness. I was like, what happened? But, man, it's just unbelievable. Jesuit is going to be a solid team, but they've been a solid team all year.
Yeah, did they take on the number 1 seed next week?
That's going to be the hard thing right there.
Can they slow them down? I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know who will.
Karen Crow, Pineville, we call this a tune-up.
Mm-hmm.
For the showdown of the state next week. 57-7 winners at the Crow Dome. Now everyone gets what they all wanted. Karen Crow, Acadiana Part 2, my friend. We hate to lose a local this early, but what a dream matchup here in round 2.
Right. I was hoping this matchup was going to be further down.
Yes.
But, man, Acadiana, Karen Crow. If you watched or paid attention to this season and saw how they won last time, man, you don't believe that this is going to be a shootout. This is going to be a nail-biter of a ball game. I can't wait.
Gary Swallow, Huntington gets upset in round 1 by Woodlawn of Baton Rouge. What a win for Woodlawn. They go on the road, 16-6 winners. Hey, any given Friday.
Any given Friday. I'm going to tell you something. Woodlawn, we went to that, believe it or not, our tournament that we went to was at Woodlawn High School. And we were setting up for the karate tournament and stuff, and they had buses going out for the, back and forth. So I was like going, oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I'm sure Coach Rando is
It was,
over the moon right now.
Yeah, and we actually had a chance of it. They were so excited, for that, and they were looking forward to it. So, man, I can't wait to see what this next matchup's going to be. But they got a tough one coming up, babes. That's gonna be a ball club that's gonna be a ball game that you're gonna have to make sure everything goes right, and you can get some things taken away from the other team. But I don't see it happening.
A lot has to go right.
Yes. But congratulations to Woodlawn on that victory.
Any given Friday, my friend.
You're right. That's why you play the game, my buddy.
Alexandria, one of those teams going into this playoff bracket.
They're kicking.
Very, very scary.
Mm-hmm.
A 13 seed, 58-9 winners in round one over a Bonneville team.
Right.
Gary, can Alexandria run the table as a 13 seed? They can have the state runner-ups in round two. Well, watch out for Alexandria.
Alexandria's got the capability to do it, but they're gonna have some hard competition coming up.
Yes, you get
starting off with
you get
Brother
past
Martin.
this one. You got another tough one.
Yeah, there's no easy ones
There's
now.
no easy games in this bracket.
No.
John Ehret, shout out to, I think this is George Peppers' alma down there. They get a big win over Riverdale, 41-7. That was a Thursday night game.
Right. That was kind of seen. John Ehret's they're a good ball club.
Gary, I guess if you just say, just let St. Aug get into the playoffs and let them do their work, my friend. You come in as a 22 seed, you sneak in, you go on the road, meet up with McKinley in the first round, and how about you just put up 43 big ones on the road, my friend, to set up a huge showdown with Curtis.
St. Aug is not a 22 seed. There's no way you can say that.
Catholic League, SEC West.
There's no way you can say that that's a 22 seed.
How you say that?
Yeah, you're right. But then they got to play against John Curtis. Look out.
St. Aug, John Curtis, we would not have it any other way.
No, that's going to be all.
That's going to be an awesome one. Tioga, no problems with L.W. Higgins, 48-14. Them and St. Paul's are going to be fun.
Right, that's going to be a nice one.
St. Paul's, really good defense.
Yeah.
Tioga, really good offense. Get ready.
Right.
And then Holly's lock of the week. Ching, ching, baby.
Man.
She cashes in.
She did, didn't she?
She picked Archbishop Rummel over Northwood Shreveport, 34-14. JB said, don't let Rummel get hot. They're scary in this playoffs. Hey, my friend, Holly's lock of the week strikes, and you correct here. 34-14, Rummel, Captain Shreve for next week.
Yeah, that's going to be. Let me tell you something. We've talked about this Captain Shreve ball club. They've been scary all year.
This is going to be the best team Captain Shreve has played all year.
Yes, it will.
In round two.
Right, most definitely. But, man, they're going to be excited and know that. But Archbishop Rummel, be careful.
Careful.
Yeah, because they're good.
Check out on some of these matchups here in round two. They said this is the top 10 bracket in the nation, so we should have some fantastic matchups here in round two. Let's check them out.
Yeah.
See if y'all are getting here.
Not yet.
Yeah. Let's see. Holy Cross and Jesuit. Can you slow down Holy Cross and upset them here in round one? I believe they played in the regular season because they are in the Catholic League, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
So somebody let me know what the score was in the regular season between those two guys. Karen Crow, Acadiana, that's the big one.
Toss up. That's going to be a coin flip. And
hard to beat somebody twice.
You know, you had
right.
Yes, hard to beat somebody twice, especially the way that they lost. That's going to be tough.
We're back at Acadiana
At Acadiana
for round
Field, yes.
two.
Round 2.
Edna Core and Woodlawn. Said a lot. 41-0. Holy Cross
wow.
won. So it's hard to beat somebody
Yeah.
twice, but I think Holy Cross is highly favored here.
Yeah, they're going to be.
Edna Core Woodlawn. A lot has to go right for Woodlawn. Here, can they catch Edna Core on a bad night?
That's going to be hard to do because Edna Core's had a bad night before this year.
They
Curtis
started slow a couple of times this year, but they finished strong.
Right.
Curtis, they showed they were human.
Mm-hmm. So, but this is, like I said, this is totally different. Look out.
What else we got here? Alexandra Brother Martin. I think this is the big matchup that everybody will be circling this week, thinking, "Hey, Alexandra has a really good shot to go upset Brother Martin."
Can Brother Martin stop them? They score.
They score.
They score at
Brother
will
Martin
pretty
plays
much.
good defense.
Yeah. So can that defense stop Alexandra? That's going to be the $1 million question right there.
Alexandra, a long road trip, my friend.
Right.
But we'll see what happens. Catholic of BR and John Ehret, JB. Can John Ehret keep it close? Or does Catholic of BR run away into the quarterfinals here?
John Ehret's tough, but so is Catholic. So
Yes.
that's going to be a good game. I think Catholic of Baton Rouge will probably have the edge, but don't ever underestimate John Ehret.
St. Aug, John Curtis. This matchup got a lot more intriguing and interesting coming into this week. I like Curtis, but if St. Aug's in the playoffs, you never know what's going to happen.
St. Aug is one of those teams that just has tradition. They could be ranked, they could be the last team coming in and playing against the number 1 team, and they'll end up beating them. They are that good, their tradition is, but they're going to be having their hands full. John Curtis is, they always ask this year, is John Curtis back to where they were? Well, I don't know if they left very long, but John Curtis is going to be tough, so look out.
It's a 22 versus 6 seed.
Right.
You can throw the records out. Another Catholic League showdown.
Right, I agree. And like everybody in the chat says, Curtis is going to be tough, and I agree with that. But I think St. Aug is going to make it interesting.
St. Paul's Tioga. This is good defense versus good offense.
Correct.
Here, a 7-10 matchup. Archbishop Rummel. It seems like they're not an 18 seed, but Captain Shreve can rack up the rushing yards on any given night. Rummel will have to stop the run.
Captain Shreve is going to be a force to be
18
reckoned
versus
with, my
2.
friend.
Rummel, Shreve. That's going to be a lot of fun.
That's really going to be a lot of fun.
Gary, back-to-back road trips for Archbishop Rummel headed to Shreveport.
Right.
They went to Shreveport Friday. They got to go back to Shreveport next Friday.
Right.
They might as well stay there for a week, huh?
Right. They could have just stayed there and, did all their classes online. All of that. And then that way they wouldn't have to travel so far.
And correct me if I'm wrong. And if they win that game and Tioga upsets St. Paul's, they got to go back that direction in the quarters.
Yeah, pretty much.
Man, that's nuts.
That is going to be crazy. Whew.
A fun-filled Division 2. Division 1 select bracket, my friend.
That's right. I tell you what. It doesn't get any easier, but like I said, the games are going to get a lot tighter, and there's going to be a lot of wows.
Absolutely. Division 4 non-select. Let's over to the public sky right here.
Let's go that way.
Franklin Grand Lake could have been something close of a ball game. Too many athletes, my friend.
Franklin's tough.
Yes, indeed. Too many athletes. Too much speed for Grand Lake to keep up with Friday night. 46-13 winners. Now a 2A program in Franklin. Going to hit the road to take on the number 1 seed Logansport. So this is a 2A, 1A matchup.
Right.
A lot of people have been telling me they're worried about this Franklin football team and could pull an upset here this week against the number 1 team in the state. It's going to be tough.
That's going to be hard to do.
It's going to be extremely hard. You know Logansport in their home football games. It's a tough environment to win in.
You're right.
But congratulations, Franklin, in the second round.
Right.
We got 9 seed White Castle knocks off Vornado 52-0. White Castle, they've been in the dome a couple times over the past few years. Welsh, they was in the Dome a couple times the past few years. 42-20 winners over Basile. Hearts go out to that Basile program.
Right.
Couple seniors that we've covered over the last few years, my friend.
Right. We've all had.
Sad to see them go.
Yeah. Basile's always been a good friend to Under the Lights. I really respect that program. The coaching staff over there works really hard, and they do a wonderful job. I hate to see them get out, in the first round, but Welsh was playing some good ball.
Greyhounds, 7 of the last 8 they've won,
Right.
so they're hot going into the second round, and they're gonna get to host a good White Castle team in
Right.
the second round.
And I think that game there is going to have a lot of fireworks in it. I think it's going to be one of the best games on this bracket.
Another 2A versus 1A matchup
Correct.
there.
Correct.
Jeanerette, boy, they pull off a scare. Last team in the playoffs was West St. John. I think it was like a 6-2 ball game at one point where West St. John actually had the lead.
Right.
Jeanerette at home finds a way to avoid an upset scare. 12-6 was the final, Gary.
Right.
Is that concerning?
That should be concerning because the next round's not going to get any easier. So look out.
East Feliciana, 38-0 win over Elton. So,
Right.
East Feliciana can score for days.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And Jeanerette get it going here in round 2.
Jeanerette can score. They can actually do what they
Yes.
have to do, but they have to get it going. They cannot struggle because East Feliciana's going to score.
And we still forget about the weather.
Right.
It
That
could
has a
have
lot
been
to
the
do.
weather.
And that could have been it. It could have been. I'm sure. The games y'all call that was sloppy. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but so the weather has a lot to do with everything. Especially when you're on a natural field and it's wet and it's sloppy and it's muddy and it's yucky. If you're on turf, it's not near as bad, but it's still bad. But I mean, on a dry field, things are different. So that probably had a lot to do with that.
See what else we got here, Gary. Arcadia gets upset in the first round. Down goes the 13 seed to General Trask. 22-6. Trask getting a big upset win on the road.
Trask, they woke up and said, nobody believes in us. Guess what? We're going to do it. And they did it.
That was the K104 Downs game of the week up north. So
That's right.
big win for those guys there.
Right.
Lake Arthur, I heard Ray Levi went off in this game. I think he had, 5 touchdowns and 4 2-point conversions and 2 or 3 touchdowns got called back because of penalties. My man went off. The senior led his Lake Arthur team to an upset win in round 1 over Montgomery. 46-35. Congratulations, Lake Arthur. What a win.
Right. I agree. That was... I picked this one to be very close, and I didn't know exactly how it was, but I didn't see Lake Arthur playing the way they did. They, like you said, they just went off.
Gary, let's stick with another upset, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
You said this could have been very well seeds flipped.
Right.
Because Centerville played in that grueling district. That was every week. That was a tough game for them.
Correct.
11 seed Oberlin, 22 Centerville Bulldogs marching on to the second round of the playoffs, 40-26, and Centerville will be at home next week. 22 seed will host a second round matchup. Congratulations to those guys.
Tell you what, we've covered both of these teams, and I'm gonna tell you right now, Centerville. I'm just so excited for them because they've worked so hard. We've watched them the last couple of years, and they've just really trying to turn that program around. And that's second-year coach, isn't he? Isn't it his second year?
I believe so.
I think he's instilling the belief in them. And Oberlin's always going to be tough, but I mean, Centerville did what they had to do. That's got to be that had to have been an exciting ball game.
I'm sure Coach is still on cloud 9.
Oh,
right
I'm
now.
sure he's probably walking around the school, hitting the ceiling.
Mangum, 54-14 winners over Andy Boone's Lakeview team there.
Right.
Homer, it was close for a while. Delhi and Homer were close for a while, and then Homer pulls away late. They get a 28-8 win, I believe the final score was.
Yes, sir.
Oakdale, dominating win on Thursday night over East Beauregard,
Right.
53-21. If the running back can do what he did Thursday night, Gary, watch out in round 2. If he can go and rush for 5 touchdowns on the road, my friend.
Yeah, Oakdale has a very solid ball club. They can play with anybody, it seems like. I know Mikey over there, offensive coordinator. I think
Barry, this was like a 16-14 ball game, and then Oakdale just freaking turned it up a gear.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They said it. I didn't, like I said, they didn't get a chance to see it or anything like that. But I heard that it was tight, and then it's like they just flicked the switch and said, "Let's go," and they just didn't stop.
53-21 final. Congratulations to the Warriors.
Right.
Faraday 34-6 over Jonesboro Hodge. Would love to see Faraday start to get back into their ways of making playoff pushes, because you remember how good that Faraday football team was a few years ago.
You're right.
When they went and won the state title.
Well, you're 100% right.
Gary, let's look at this bracket here. That'll be a fun Division 4 non-select second round, my friend.
Right.
We know you got the 4 contenders, but can 1 or 2 of those contenders go down this week?
It's possible, but you got to play the game. Any given Friday, anything can happen. Injury, something major, monsoon. Can't never tell.
Logansport, 1 seed, trying to get back to the big dance, standing in their way. 16 seed Franklin this week. Tough environment to go play in.
Tough place to play, yes.
9 seed White Castle, 8 seed Welsh. Got a feeling this is going to be storybook ending for one of these programs.
I think that's going to be one of the best games of the week for this bracket.
Okay. Jeanneret, East Feliciana. Watch out, Jeanneret. Yeah. You're going to have to bring it in the second round.
Right, most definitely.
East Feliciana, no slouches. That's a tough 12 seed.
Right.
General Trask gets a crack at Haynesville. You're going to knock off Haynesville. Boy, you're one of those teams that it's one of those Cinderella runs.
Right. Can they keep that momentum going against a tough Haynesville team? That's going to be the question.
20 seed General Trask, no mistake.
Yeah, 20 seed.
And then Lake Arthur, they got to go slay a giant this weekend.
Wow,
Oak Grove,
you're right, man.
My goodness, a 3 versus 19 seed. But if I know Coach at Lake Arthur, he's going to have his kids ready to play.
They're going to be ready to play. But like you say, can they slay the giant? Oak Grove is playing phenomenal football.
They're trying to go repeat, my friend.
Right.
A lot of people have put Oak Grove already in the title game, but before they get there, it's shaping up to be a really tough bottom of the bracket for them.
Correct.
You got Centerville as the 22 seed will host 6 seed Mangum. So, hey, Bulldogs get to host Mangum. Gary, that's a long road trip for Mangum.
That's a long road trip.
Watch out, upset alert.
Long road trip, but you got to watch out. They're going to be. I know they're going to probably bring a good following.
Mangum loves their football.
And Centerville
standing room only.
Yeah, it's not a big stadium, but I'm gonna tell you, it's going to be full. I think it's going to be really full, and look out.
And then you got 7 seed Homer versus 10 seed Oakdale. You said the White Castle Welsh one could be a good one.
This will be number 2.
This could be right there with it.
Right.
If Oakdale doesn't turn the ball over.
Right. That's the key. No turnovers. Keep it clean. Control the line of scrimmage. Open those holes for that good running back that you got. Let him go.
And then, Gary, they at the end of the game, a key injury.
Right.
Will he play?
That was we talked about that earlier. You had somebody went down late in the game.
Really late.
Why was he even in there? That's the $1 million question. Hopefully he's not injured too bad. Hopefully he'll be able to come back and it won't affect him.
Faraday Kentwood 15 versus 2.
Watch out for the ruse.
Ruse under the water tower.
That's right.
Anybody can have trouble there.
Yeah. I don't care who it is. When you go play in Kentwood and you play underneath that water tower, it's hard.
Yes, sir. I've only seen, who was it this year? Southern Lab gets the job done.
They did that, and it was tight.
Division 3 non-select. We welcome back those teams that had a first round bye, my friend. And we take a look at some of these matchups they're going to have. Caldwell Parish dedicated that game to their fallen classmates, teammates. And it was going to be their night no matter what happened, Gary. 13-6 winners over Richwood. It was a close game, but you knew they would not be denied.
Right, I agree.
And Caldwell Parish, they set up a second-round matchup. These guys are used to meeting for the district title in the regular season.
Right.
Now the stakes have been raised.
Mm-hmm.
Gina, Caldwell Parish, part
Right.
2. Jules Sumner, they avoid a scare from the 24 seed South Beauregard, but we said it on Wednesday night. We said that South Beauregard was battle tested. They play in a really tough 3A district, and they could go and knock off Jules Sumner.
They almost did. They almost did it. Yes, they did.
18-14, Jules Sumner survives a big scare from
Right.
South Bow. Amite, not much offense here, but enough defense at home to
Right.
knock off Donaldsonville 21-6. Warriors
Mhm.
set up a rematch with Jules Sumner. When Jules Sumner knocked those guys off in the regular season, will revenge be oh so sweet this week?
Oh yeah, you know that it's hard. Like we said, it's hard to beat somebody twice.
Mhm.
And Amite in the playoffs is a different team,
beast.
different beast out there. So look out. I think it's gonna be interesting.
Two teams had no problems this week. It was Bogalusa and Loreville. 42-7 win, Bogalusa over Westlake. That's a 5-28. And then Loreville, 12-21. 40-12 over Rayville. It sets up a big matchup between those two.
You're right. And Loreville has to travel to Bogalusa. So will that affect anything? That could be an interesting ball game. Loreville has its traditions and everything, but Bogalusa's playing good ball.
Yes, indeed.
So look out.
Next up, my friend, who would get St. James in the... we take that back. Who would get Union Parish in the second round? How about we throw a little upset in the bracket?
You right.
Down goes St. Helena. 13 is out. 20 stays. And Port Allen knocks off St. Helena 25-18. What a road win for the Pelicans.
Right.
And now they get a crack at the Farmers.
Union Parish. That's going to be an exciting ball game.
Oof.
You're going to have to travel to get up there. Look out, man. That's going to be a tough environment.
Union Parish,
So-
well rested, ready to go.
Yeah, we thought that they weren't going to be that good without Trey, but guess what? They've proven us wrong.
Let's see. Now who gets a crack at St. James? It would be North Webster. They would put Patterson away early. 42-0. North Webster got to hit the road. Got to take on St. James next week. Another stadium where
Right.
it's tough to win in.
Right.
South Plaquemines and Port Barry. Port Barry actually jumped out on South Plaquemines first. It was 8-0, Gary.
Wow.
It was 8-8 at halftime. And you thought they had a shot. 2 turnovers inside the goal line. And then South Plaquemines ran away with it at the end. Hats off to Port Barry going to compete there at on the road.
Right. Jordy, we love the Red Devils. That's our alma mater and everything, but you knew that if they had to stay clean, no turnovers, no this. When you turn the ball over,
Good teams make you pay for it.
good teams just put it on you. And you know what? I still love my Red Devils. I think they're on the right path. I think they're going the way that they need to go. Coach Angel has done tremendous work. I have nothing but praise for that young man.
Look out for Coach
Look out.
Angel, future guest picker this coming playoffs.
Really?
Either-
I hope so. I
Either
hope to
this
see
week
him.
or the next,
Hope to see him. Yes, sir.
before he gets cranked off for basketball season, because he is the head basketball coach.
That's
for
true. He is. So he's gonna be
So you
busy. He's gonna be a busy man.
Promise to come on and be a guest picker.
Good. Love to have him.
And then South Plaquemines, you get a big win at home, but now you got to hit the road and go play the defending state champs. Manny, 61-0 over Springfield, my friend.
Manny is clicking on all cylinders. How they say that?
They had a slow start, but they kicked things into a gear, and they have not looked back.
You're right. I agree with you. Unbelievable.
Pine actually trailed Red River this week, Gary. When we talked earlier in the week, Gary, we were gonna go where? we were going to go to Pine
We're
in
going to go
round
to
2.
Pine, yeah.
We were going to
We were
cover Pine and Kinder in round 2. And then all hell broke loose.
You're right.
And we looked like Pine was about to get upset. And then they turned it up a
Yeah.
gear. They were playing Red River. Red River came out inspired, jumped on those guys 16-0.
Right.
And then Pine took off with it. 38-16 was a final there. And then Kinder welcomed in the Voiles. And nobody told the Mustangs that their season had to end early because they went on the road and knocked off the Yellow Jackets at home. We know John C. Buck Stadium is not the easiest places to win in, but a Voiles, what a statement of a win on the road.
Right. You know, it was a game that we thought that, you know, which team could control it the most, the best, control the line of scrimmage, control the ball, and no turnovers and stuff like that. Avoz with that, and I hate to say, I'm gonna call it that freaky offense that they run, show that they are still there. They controlled it. They did what they had to do,
Tough
and they
schedule.
won.
The
And their tough schedule
has
yes.
set them up to go knock off a Kinder in the first round. And guess what, Gary? They got a shot to go knock off Pine in the second round.
Because Pine has to go
to
Avoyelles. So that's, hey, home field. Home field has an advantage 90% of the time, and that's going to be a tough place to play. So Pine better not take it for granted because Avoyelles going to put it on.
That's a long road trip for Pine.
You're right. Okay.
Let's see. Logansport and Haynesville in the semifinals has Under the Lights written all over it.
Yeah, it sure does.
Make it happen in the chats.
Yes, let's make it. Hey, I wouldn't mind.
I've been to Logansport before.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go again.
Right.
Gary Swallow, Marksville and Mansfield, one of those game of the night caliber type of football games. It was a 15 versus 18 seed. Final score, Mansfield goes on the road and knocks off the Tigers 31-28. Boy, I bet that was a fun night, but I bet it was a heartbreaking night.
That had to be a heartbreaking night when you lose a game like that. But, man, can you imagine non-stop, just back and forth, I'm sure, and when you lose a game basically by a field goal, so and we don't know if it was right at the end or how it was, but, man, when you lose a game like that, your heart melts. When you win a game like that, your heart explodes.
Yes, sir. Second round matchups in the Division III non-select. Gina Caldwell Parish rematch. No, it's not for the district title. It's in the second round of the playoffs. 1 versus 16. Gina Giants. Don't awake the Giants.
Right.
That's a sleeping giant ready to be gone.
You're right.
8 seed Amite, 9 seed Jules Sumner. A rematch of earlier in the season. Jules Sumner got the better of Amite that night.
Right.
What's going to happen when they meet again?
We always say, hard to beat them twice. Hard to beat somebody twice in a year.
Bogalusa, Loreville. You can expect a lot of offense between these two on Friday night. That's going to be a 5 versus 12. Port Allen versus Union Parish. Will Port Allen sustain the physicality that Union Parish will bring? That tough-nosed football program up north, watch out.
Yeah.
20 versus 4 seed.
Right.
St. James versus North Webster. Expect a lot of offense here. Expect a lot more offense on one side.
You're right.
3 versus 14.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one-sided.
Manny versus South Plaquemine. 6 versus 11. Watch out for the state champs at home this week. It might be one of those put the state on notice type of weeks.
Yeah, can you stop Manny at any point? Can you stop them? And so far, nobody has.
7 seed Pine will hit the road and knock off. Will face 23 seed Avoyelles.
Right.
And you look at this, Gary, and this is an upset alert waiting to happen.
That's a scary Avoyelles team with that offense that they run,
especially at home.
Pine has to travel.
Long road.
Interesting.
And then Mansfield's going to get a crack at Sterlington. 18 seed versus 2 seed Sterlington. This is going to be a Thursday night game.
Right.
They moved the game up to Thursday, Gary.
Right, man. Sterlington is a scary team. They are a scary team. You know, it's gonna be awesome.
Yes, indeed, my friend. But as I look at that bracket there, some intriguing matchups to say the least.
Yes, sir.
This is a fun bracket.
Yes, sir.
I tell you what, this next bracket is a lot of fun also.
Yeah, it's even more funner.
Division II non-select got some dogs in this
You're
in this bracket.
You're right.
And these second round matchups, this is nuts. I'm looking at this paper. These matchups are insane.
And I think they're going to be well worth the price of admission. Oh, excuse me. Well worth the price of admission to go watch them because it's going to be amazing. Hopefully the weather's going to be all good to where we can have some good weather, where we can have some good games.
And Gary, we start off the Ritter knocking off Lakeshore on the road. We said Coach Indes and that Titan program at home might be a little too much for the Ritter, but the Ritter shocks Lakeshore on the road 28-21. That's a big time win for one of our locals here.
Right. Great win though. Great win for them. And but your next round is going to be one of the toughest in the state. So look out.
Yes, North DeSoto in round 2. That's no easy task.
Yes.
Plaquemine and Iowa are on a collision course in round 2. Plaquemine 45-0 winners over Albany. Iowa 49-0 winners over Grant. Gary, if I know that stadium and I know that fan base,
yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
You imagine that place on Friday night when the 8-seed Iowa welcomes in the 9-seed Plaquemine. That is playoff football at its best.
It's gonna be rocking, Mr. Torty. It's gonna be rocking.
Two good teams gonna go at it.
Yep.
Whoever's still standing after the fourth quarter is gonna deserve their right to go to the quarter.
Two high-powered offenses so far.
West Feliciana, no problems with Minden, 42-8 after their Week 10 loss. They get it back in gear here in the round 1. And then Opelousas all over Rain, 57-6. Gary, let me tell you, Opelousas Tiger is on quest to go win a state title.
They are, and I'm gonna tell you right now, they've been chomping at the bits ever since last year. They've been working real hard. Man, they're scoring. This is going to be.
That's a statement win in round 1.
It's not going. You can't say it's a 12 and a 5 seed. This is going to be a close ball game.
You look at this matchup, OHS West Feliciana. This one has everything you want and more. Two well-coached programs.
Right.
Two how you say that? Respected teams. You got Division I talent all over the place on both sides. It's what you want in high school football, my friend.
Right. You're 100% correct.
Oh yeah, we already got he's off on Friday and I got a half a day, so.
Oh yeah, we looking at it.
We anywhere we go from here on out, we'll be there 4 or 5 hours early. Probably tailgating.
Yeah, we'll probably be somewhere tailgating with everybody.
Yep. All right, Gary, let's look at the next matchup, Abbeville and Pearl River. You had to stop one guy.
Yeah.
And they didn't stop him. They just slowed him up a little bit, Gary. He still got his touches. He still got his yards and his touchdown. But nobody on Pearl River side stopped Abbeville, Gary.
Right.
It was the weather that slowed down the Wildcats.
Right. And that was I saw the pictures and all of the game, and then I watched the recap of the game. That was sloppy.
That was tough
conditions, man. That was just
4 quarters of rain
coming down sideways. You can't. It's just unbelievable. But Abbeville did what they had to do.
Tell you what, Abbeville, you get a crack at the state champs in round 2, and if anybody can motivate a team, it's Coach Moore.
Right.
You have somebody that will make you want to run into a brick wall. It's that guy.
Coach Moore, yeah.
He's going to have his guys believing they can go pull off an upset here. It won't be easy. A lot of things got to go right, but they got a fighter's chance.
Stay clean, control the line of scrimmage. Don't get no giveaways. No giveaways, no penalties, no crazy penalties. No,
Gary,
nothing like that.
and I don't know whether or not it's if he'll play or not, but they did have the big injury there
Right.
late in the game. So will he play? That could be a huge factor.
Right. That's gonna be the $1 million question that we're gonna ask each other forever. You know, what if? But Lutcher is going to be a tough team for Abbeville. They have to be playing on all, A game, hitting on all cylinders to come out.
Lutcher at home, even scarier.
Right.
Brobridge knocks off Eunice. We said it on Wednesday night. Now that Brobridge is in the playoffs, they got past their district with Cecilia and OHS. They don't have to worry about seeing them in the first round. Could they go back on their Cinderella run that they did last year? Remember last year they found their way in the quarters? One person on Wednesday night said yes. Everybody else said no. It would be Eunice, but Brobridge 35-19 upset winners, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Big win for those guys. Watch out.
Yep.
Can they knock off Assumption this week? Tough task, but remember what they did last year. Right?
Right.
They went on the run last year at this point.
Yeah.
We'll see if they can do it again.
Only time will tell.
Northwest came in as a 22 seed, knocked off the 11 seed Franklin Parish 42-20. It's not about just getting an upset win on the road. It's about dominating an upset win on the road, my friend.
No, they did what they had to do. They controlled this ball game and took it to them. So look out.
42-20, big winners. So you know the confidence is going to be through the roof, especially since you get to play the second round in your backyard. They got one of the best bands in the land, and you look at those guys, Gary, why not Northwest?
Why not? Why not? They are a very talented ball club. They've got athletes, they've got coaching, they've got everything that they need right now to make a run. But can they put it together and take out Wassman?
Wassman, we said it, had probably one of the better defenses in the state of Louisiana, and they had a lot of shutouts this year. Yeah, they played against teams up north so they're battle tested.
Oh, most definitely.
No problems with Bruley, 26-7 winners. Now we turn the page, and Wassman takes the long road trip down to Prairie Ronde. We're going to have it live on Under the Lights. 22 seed Northwest at home versus 6 seed Wassman. Boy, I'm itching for Friday to get here.
Me too, buddy. Me too.
That's it could be one-sided. It could be down to the last possession. It could be a lot of things.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Put the ball down. Let's play the game.
We're excited. We're gonna take it. We're gonna take it. For whatever it is, we're gonna enjoy ourselves.
St. Martinville came in as a 26 seed. They played the 7 seed Leedsville. A lot of people had this Leedsville team as quarterfinal, semifinal good this year.
Right.
And you said St. Martinville. They played a grueling schedule. You didn't know what was going on. They were losing games they wasn't supposed to lose.
Right.
You said if they somehow got in a track meet with Leedsville, watch out for the upset. Boy, did a lot of people call this one right.
Right.
I know none of us called it right, but I know some people that reported this that said this could happen.
Well, I remember, and I'll be the first one to admit, I picked against St. Martinville. I said I picked Leesville, but I said if this turns into a shootout, I said St. Martinville will win, and I said that on the show. But I thought that Leesville was going to be able to control them. Guess what? They didn't.
46-40. What a win for those guys.
Right. Excited. I'm excited for them because, St. Martinville, look out.
Jennings and Kaplan met. We thought this one had a chance to be a game of the night caliber, but Jennings with a statement win on Friday night at home, 34-6 winners over the Pirates. Gary, this Jennings ball club, they're better than what people are giving them.
You're right. You right. And I can't wait for next week because it's going to be awesome. You're going to have, St. Martinville and Jennings. I mean, look out. That's two locals that basically can get to the quarters. and which one will do it.
We shift here's the rematch everybody was anticipating and ready to see. Both sides packed the stadium. But Gary, the game did not live up to the hype.
I know.
Iota, 15 seed, knocked off the 18 seed. The Battling Bears of Church Point season ends in the first round. How about that Iota Bulldog football team, Gary?
They're a good ball club.
They're a really good ball club, and when they play at home, it seems like they turn it up another notch.
Right.
35-6 winners. Iota, they got a really good football game in the next one.
You're right. Can they put it together? And
if anybody can do it, it's them.
That. Yeah, but they're not home. They're on the road, and that's a tough place to play. Also,
let's check on those matchups then.
Let's
Gary.
go. Let's do it.
Division II non-select. We start off with North DeSoto, 1 seed versus 17 seed the Ritter. The Ritter, better get ready for a track meet and a lot of speed from that North DeSoto side. But Dragons, seem like they're up for the challenge.
I think so. It's going to be interesting.
Plaquemine and Iowa, 9 versus 8. Boy, this is excitement written all over it. I know. I just want to be a fly on one of those goalposts just watching this one.
You're right. I want to see that too. I'll be like, oh.
West Feliciana and OHS. This is not a 5-12 in my opinion. This is quarterfinal, semifinal matchup here in the second round.
Right. And, I think so too.
If West Feliciana wins this game, watch out for those guys moving forward. If OHS wins this game, watch out for those guys moving forward. It's going to be something to see when these two Titans clash on Friday.
You're right.
Abbeville and Lutcher. It's gonna take everybody in the community and everybody on the team to go knock off Lutcher. But if I know Coach Moore, he's gonna have something up his sleeve. But Lutcher, they're trying to defend their crown, and they got another tough test this week to go do it.
You're right.
Assumption and Brobridge just got more interesting as we see Brobridge own their quest for another Cinderella run.
Mm-hmm.
Northwest and Wassman. Hopefully we have a lot of drama in that one. And it's a barn burner. That's a 22 versus 6. And then St. Martinville and Jennings, 26 versus 10. That's going to be something to see, Gary.
Right.
Throw the records and throw the C's out the window.
Right, exactly. I think it's going to be something unbelievable. As far as on that, and hopefully, it's going to be a good ball game, and may the better team win.
And then 15 seed Iota and 2 seed Cecilia. You might have 10,000 people at that game.
You probably will.
You're going to have 2 ball clubs going at it tooth and nail.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a game of inches, in my opinion, Gary.
Right, I think so too.
Fourth quarter, who wants it more?
Cecilia, it's just hard to beat Cecilia at Cecilia. But if anybody can do it, Iota can. But
this bracket is
tough.
Loaded in the second round.
Yes.
My goodness. Division II non-select, thank you for some great matchups.
You're right.
One more for you, Gary.
Yes, sir.
Division I non-select. Westgate, I'm not sure if he played, but it seems like at home. Westgate, no problems with Terrebonne, 27-10, 16 over 17.
Right.
Walker, no problems with Benton, 55-26. And then the big shock of the state, Gary.
That's the wow for me, guys. This is the wow.
25 seed North Shore knocks off West Monroe 9-7. Down goes West Monroe for the first time. I think, what was it, the 80s or the 90s, Gary? I can't even think that far back. I wasn't even alive the last time West Monroe lost in the first round. I don't even know if they ever lost in the first round.
I don't remember them ever losing in the first round. And I've been West Monroe has always been one of my favorite teams in the state. I don't know why. As I was coming up, they caught my eye, and I've always liked them. But man, this is surprising for me to see someone come in to West Monroe and upset them 9-7. That must have been a defensive struggle.
Defensive slugfest.
Yeah. Or, I don't know if the weather conditions caused a lot of problems, but man, that's an upset.
A blocked field goal. A blocked field goal.
Really? That's what it was? My God.
Santa Mont. No problems with a Ouachita Parish. 31-3. Don't sleep on the 5 seed, Gary.
Don't do it.
And then upset in Lake Charles.
Yep.
Sam Houston. I'd say upset in Lake Charles. Upset in Moss Bluff.
Moss Bluff, yes, that's right.
Mandeville goes on the road and knocks off Sam Houston 50-36. A lot of people put Sam Houston in the quarters, and down goes the Broncos in round one. But Gary, you look at it, 2 teams from that area gets big upset wins in the first round. Mandeville knocks off Sam Houston, and North Shore knocks off West Monroe, same district, and 2 upset big ones.
You're right, and that's what I'm saying. They're battle testing. They know what to do, but so they just went out and showed them how tough that district was.
Yes.
So look out.
Coach at Thibodaux, myself and Gary's prayers are with your family. They would play Southside on Friday night, 13-20 matchup here.
Right.
Sharks going to turn it up when they get in the playoffs, Gary. 42-9 winners. Southside, intriguing matchup in the next round.
Right.
I know you like the Sharks.
I like the Sharks. I know Coach Fontenot's doing a great job over there, and look out.
Hey, the Hash It Out game of the week was Belle Chase and Parkway, my friend. 14 versus 19. 43-16. Dominating win for Belle Chase at home.
Yes.
And Belle Chase is going to get a crack at the state champs in round 2.
Right.
Salmon avoids a huge scare versus West Ouachita, 20-17. Good win there for Salmon. Zachary lets out a little frustration on Barb, my friend. 51-14 after the Week 10 district loss. Let's see. Dutchtown, no problems with South Lafourche at home, 42-0.
Right.
Chalmette and Ponchatoula, that was a game of the night caliber.
Right.
35-28. 23 seed took Chalmette to the wire. And then, I guess you could call this an upset, but a lot of us called this one on Wednesday. We said Central of Baton Rouge with Coach David Semino would go and knock off East St. John, but we didn't know it was going to be with this much authority behind it. 43-15, Central of Baton Rouge statement win in this bracket, along with North Shore. Boy, you had some good ones.
Oh, you're right. You had real good ones. When you're in the playoffs, especially
you look at David Semino. He's been here before. He knows how to go on the road and win these big games.
It's not his first rodeo as far as coaching. I mean, he knows how to do things, how to get his team ready.
And if he's got those guys believing they can go win a state championship, watch out.
Right. It's going to be interesting. Great matchups coming up this week.
Yeah. Division I non-select, Gary.
Right.
Let's check the matchups.
Right.
Number 1 seed Ruston versus 16 seed Westgate. Remember Westgate, state title a couple years ago.
Right.
They get a crack at the state runner-ups here in round 2. Will they live up to the hype?
That
to
we
be
don't
determined.
know. That's to be determined. Yes, sir.
Walker and North Shore. Walker, you know they can score points. North Shore, you go and upset of West Monroe. Now you get Walker at home. Watch out.
Watch out, but will that emotion be able to carry you to the next level, or will Walker come in and say, "Oh, not so fast"?
You look at Walker headed to North Shore right here, very intriguing. North Shore could very well be our Cinderella.
Right, that's something to think about.
As a 25 seed. Next matchup, Gary, Santa Mont gotta go to Mandeville here. Another Cinderella potential. 5 versus 21. Santa Mont getting their first road test of the playoffs, and Mandeville, they're going to be excited over there.
Mandeville's, from what I'm gathering and reading up on and all that, Mandeville's very good, but Santa Mont is hard to beat in the playoffs. Santa Mont is a very good ball club. Going to be interesting.
13 seed Southside will get a crack at Ben Taylor and Airline. It's a 13 versus 4 matchup. The defensive backs better get ready versus that Airline passing attack, my friend.
They better be hydrated, because I promise you they're going to be running. They're going to be running all over the field, because they fling it and they go after it. So
yes.
Can the Sharks control that air raid offense? That's going to be the determining factor.
Acadiana is already covered by their media page, so they got their own radio in their stadium.
they got their own media system.
Yes. Destrehan and Belle Chase, to be the champ, you got to go knock off the champ. Hey, Destrehan, they are a sleeping giant ready to erupt. And guess what, Gary? They are 4 wins away from repeating.
The thing about it is, Belle Chase is a good team, and they did a real good job, against Parkway. But Destrehan, nobody talks about Destrehan. They've been a sleeping giant for the last 2 years, and last year
24 in a row.
24 in a row. They won the state championship last year, and they're on pace to do it again. As long as you don't, people are just not talking about them, and I guess in there, I'm sure they talk about them a lot around New Orleans. But man,
or the River Pirates.
Or the River Pirates, yeah. But look out, man! This is a scary team. One of my best friends that he's owns a martial arts school in Destrehan. We were talking about them. He says they just go and do what they have to do. He says they're not flashy. They're not this. They're not He says they go.
They just handle business
and take care of it.
Okay.
So look out.
Salmon and Zachary will meet up on Friday night down in Bronco Country. That's 11 versus 6 seed. And then Dutchtown and Chalmette will meet up. Dutchtown, I think that Dutchtown is scary good too.
Yeah, Dutchtown is scary good.
And then Central of Baton Rouge as an 18 seed will head north to meet with Neville. And you talk about one of the tougher stadiums to win in.
That is going to be a very interesting matchup, because Neville.
Circle this one, Gary.
Man, you better circle it with red.
This is the big matchup of this bracket.
Right. You're going to have Central is playing some good football. They got their coaches are coming together and making everybody work together and doing what they have to do. But you got Neville. You go up there to play Neville. That's a hard place to play and win. Neville has so much tradition up there.
You earn your
stripes. Look out.
Earn your stripes. Go pull off an upset win. But Neville seems like they're primed to get back to the Dome.
Most definitely, and I'm looking to see that. I would love to see Neville in the Dome. It's going to be amazing. But they got
But that round 2 matchup is scary right now.
That one right now is probably one of the scariest ones on this week.
Yes.
On this bracket.
Gary, week 2.
Week 11.
We talk about round 2.
Round 2, yes.
Yes. Gary Swallow, Friday night we could not do the recap show, so we came and handled it today. So I want to thank you for that, my friend. Always opening the doors. And a lot of people wanted to see the recap show. You can see it. I mean, they watch NFL football probably in the background, but they got us on the cell phone radio on the couch. So we thank everybody for taking time out of your Sunday afternoon to come and watch a little football recap with the guys here.
Yeah. And, words can't express how much we appreciate all your support, guys. Without you guys, we wouldn't have the program that we have. We do a lot of things for the love of the game. And you know what? We appreciate all your support and all the positive feedbacks that you give us. All of you guys in the chat, we love you all.
Absolutely,
even sometimes you give us a little hard time for not picking against your team, not picking for your team. But you know what? It's all in love. And we thank you for everything that you do for us. So keep it up, and we'll always be here.
Gary Swallow, we welcome back those teams that were on a first-round bye last week. Get ready. We're going to see some of our locals and a lot of teams from around the state that are title contenders for the very first time getting to play a little football this week at their home field. remember, all the buys will be the home teams this week. And then you look at a lot of upset alerts across the bracket. What's going to be the big wows this week? Because, my friend, round one had a little bit of everything.
Yeah, had a little bit of everything. We had some upsets. We had some blowouts. We had some real good ball games. Some just overall great high school football. And you know what? I think week 2, the regional weeks, is going to be even better because everybody wants to get to Thanksgiving. They want to get to the quarters. They want to get there. And you know what? I'm excited. There's going to be a lot of wows. I know there may be some upsets, but man, high school football, nothing like it.
At its finest.
At its finest. The state of Louisiana has some awesome athletes. How many of these athletes are going to go to the next level? Quite a few, most likely, in the playoffs. And you know what? All you can say is go for it. That's all you got to do. Go for it.
No regrets.
No regrets. Leave everything out on the field and have fun. That's what it's about. Whether you win or lose, have fun.
Yes, indeed, my friend. So a lot of games will be covered across the state of Louisiana, whether they have their own streaming company or VSN is covering it or we're covering it or 446 is covering it. I know Neville Tiger Network is covering their game. You look at St. Paul's is going to cover their game on their broadcast network. So there's a lot of football to watch this coming week across the state of Louisiana if you can't make it out to the game. But we highly encourage for y'all to go and sit in those stands and support those kids. They worked their tails off these last few weeks all the way up. I mean, what was it like? All summer up into these last 11 weeks, Gary. They worked their tail off to get to this point. Go out and support these kids. Get in those bleachers. Show them how much you love each and every one of them. And if you're just a fan of high school football, go and enjoy a game. Pick one out. Go enjoy a game. And get some popcorn.
Go watch a game, but you can do like us. We always have our phones on a game to where we're all watching different games. And we were laughing about it a few weeks ago. We actually had fans when we were broadcasting the game. They'd actually say, "Yeah, I'm watching y'all." They were sitting in the stands watching the same game, and they were watching us on Under the Lights. I was like, "Oh my God, they love us." But we watch games all the time. You do the same thing. Show those kids the love that they deserve.
Yes, indeed, my friend. Also, NFHS is another outlet. So there's plenty of options across the state of Louisiana. It's going to be a big week 2 of the round of playoffs.
Right.
I keep messing it up, my friend.
It's all good,
but,
man.
Like we said, the road to the Dome is officially underway. Last week, a lot of teams have taken that step to get there. Only 8 will be crowned, my friend. A lot of teams will not make it there, but they still have an opportunity. The field will be cut in half after Friday night.
Right now, you got all these teams that we just talked about. They still have a shot. Go for it. Don't let anything hold you back. Leave everything on the field, and it will make everything so much better. Win or lose, just leave everything on the field, and you'll know that you gave it your all.
Absolutely. We want to say goodbye for now, ladies and gentlemen. We've enjoyed the recap show. I'm sure we'll be back Friday night regular time.
We should.
We'll be close to home, so we should be able to get squared away for our recap show Friday night. No weather, it looks like, on Friday. It looks like we're in the clear, so it should be some good games across the state, and we should cover a good one ourselves. Gary Swallow, I'll take a look at it. Everybody, Wednesday night, 8:30. We will pick round 2. We'll see who the panel is. We know we'll be here.
Yes.
So we'll see who will be there on Wednesday night. Thursday night, looks like we don't have a game this coming week. But we'll just enjoy a little family time. How's that?
That's right. We'll do that.
And then Friday, we'll be at Northwest and Wasserman. And then Friday night, you can catch us live somewhere in the 11 to 12 range for the recap show. Should be a lot of fun, my friend.
Right. It's going to be awesome. And, I can't wait. This is, like I said, I'm ready for some wows.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a great week this upcoming week. Have a great week. Good luck to all the locals and teams across the state of Louisiana next week. But before we get there, we got to finish off this recap show. My friend, Mr. Gary Swallow, ladies and gentlemen, just celebrated his birthday over Friday. Show him some love in the chat, my friend.
Thank you. Everybody keeps on saying that the older you get, the more you slow down. I don't think we do know what to do about that. I think we're getting more and more active. I've been involved with high school sports all my life. And you know what? I just love seeing the kids work. I'm a martial arts instructor. I love working with kids. I do all that. But whenever you see these kids work hard for something, it makes my heart feel better. And if knowing that I can help promote some of that, I want to thank Jordy for just mentioning and saying, hey, you want to come and do this with us? And that was, 4 years ago, give or take a little bit, 5 years ago. And I think we've been together ever since, and we always
only grown.
Yeah,
We have a shot to be better next year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We getting
try
better.
To try to grow the program next year, or try to add a couple things next
Yeah.
year. Maybe
we got some ideas.
maybe implement some things some others are doing across the state, just to bring better game day coverage for you.
Right.
I want to also, before we close things out, thank you to Enoch Brogy.
Yeah.
Thursday night stepped in late to come and do. Was our producer on Thursday night.
He worked.
So thank you to Enoch stepping in. One of our guys got sick.
Right.
He was also sick for Friday, so thank you to Bryson Antoine for stepping in Friday. So two guys that are fans of the platform here stepped in and helped out the crew.
Yeah.
With you wouldn't being able to be there, so thank you to those guys. Huge help this past week.
Yeah. And fighting that monsoon y'all had on Friday, that was really good. And so he got broke in just the right way.
Absolutely, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in tonight to the Recap Show, rescheduled edition from Friday night. God bless high school football. God bless each and every one of you. God bless my friend Gary Swallow.
And you.
And God bless UTL. We'll see you Wednesday night.